So who are the favourites currently to be in that British and Irish Lions starting 15? I want to check in with the poll that's been running on my starting lineups website. Talked about it a while ago and just see who the favourites are out there. And also talk about some of the late decisions that Andy Farrell may be making as we're now less than 2 weeks away from the big squad announcement. So super exciting. And I'll let you know when my starting lineup run their prediction games as well. Of course, we've got guys from this channel going to the Lions Captain's Dinner. There's going to be more tickets for that. And I believe a signed Lion shirt from Sam Warburton as well. So yeah, let you know when that happens. But the big thing that's going to happen before then is the Champions Cup semi-finals. There's some other European games, some domestic games this weekend. But Leinster versus Saints, that's going to be a big one. The overseas players playing for Toulouse, how they play might sway close decisions. So it's going to be super, super close. One thing that's going to be really interesting from these cup semis is the fly half debate. We're going to see Finn Smith for Saints versus Sam Prendergast head-to-head. Will one go? Will both go? Surely Russell is going to go. Marcus Smith, that's a big question now. No, his Harlequins have not been performing that great. Owen Farrell, is he still in the mix? People talking about George Ford. Jack Crowley performing well for Munster. So quite a lot in that fly half debate. That's going to be a massive call for Andy Farrell, because I really think apart from Finn Russell, everything else is just a judgment call, to be honest. And some might say Russell shouldn't go, but no, not for me. Then we've got the whole Henry Pollock question. He seems to be the bolter on everyone's lips because he's tearing it up for Northampton. But here he goes up head-to-head against the big boys. It's important to note he's only 20 years old and he's going up against Josh van der Fleer, Caelan Doris, all these big Leinster players and that Leinster pack. And if they school him a bit and say, you're not quite ready yet, then maybe that talk's going to die down. If he plays well or maybe even one-ups them, then who knows, he could be that big bolter that goes. So that's going to be one to watch for sure. Those top 14 players in Toulouse, Blair Kinghorn, you'd think he's going to go, but he could be, tied up for a while in that top 14 playoff. Jack Willis has got to be 50-50, but if he absolutely carves up in that semi-final, he may be just too good to leave and they'll just have to wait for these coming along maybe a bit later. The hooker question's interesting. Ronan Kelleher looks like he's probably the best second hooker out there behind Sheehan. McCarthy's on form, Ringrose is on form, James Lowe amongst others all showing their class and really pushing hard for that Lion spot if they haven't got it already. Henshaw maybe is in the balance, so some really interesting things from those semi-finals. Let me know if you think any of those guys are absolutely nailed on or if it's still up in the air. Then unfortunately there's always going to be some injuries and it seems to be hitting Scotland players the most, which is really tough there. How much risk do you take on a injured player? Xander Fagerson, the latest one to pick up an injury, and you think he would have gone if he was fully fit, and does that just create enough doubt in the mind? You don't want to be taking a damaged prop especially. Of the other Scottish guys on the injury list, we've got Matt Fagerson, Sione Tuipulotu, Hugh Jones, Dempsey there, Scott Cummings is there, Duan van der Merwe, of course, all at various stages of their injury layoffs. And yet you think he would take a gamble on the likes of Tuipulotu if he's going to be fit, but those guys on the fringe, Matt Fagerson, Dempsey, if they've got a slight injury when they're making the selection, that could easily be the death blow for their selection chances. So some really interesting things up for debate. And the last big one for me is Itoje versus Doris. I think it is a straight shootout between those two. Who becomes the Lions captain? I'm feeling Itoje a bit more, but again, if Doris has a big game and Andy Farrell wants to go with someone he knows, then he makes sense as well. So let me know where you think the captaincy is going. I've heard it's being announced at the same time as the squad on the same day. So we'll find out all on the 8th. And just to mention the deal I've got with Manual, their testosterone testing kits, they extended the deal from the Six Nations because it was popular. 45% off your home test with RugbyAnalyst 45. So if you did want to get a testosterone test, then now is the time to do it because that is a pretty good deal. Let's have a look at this poll on my starting lineup with the percentages. Let's go for Andrew Porter, 71.64%, the outstanding favourite at Loosehead. Schumann, I imagine, is his biggest rival, but he's well ahead. Even more ahead, unsurprising, is Dan Sheehan. Surely he will be the starting hooker. I just can't see why he wouldn't if he's fit. Furlong's there as well, so all Irish front row the favourites. but he's only down at 42%, so other people, maybe Will Stewart of England, might be in there. Then we've got a massive vote for Maro Itoje, 76, nearly 77%, and Tyburn, 73 is the second rose. So not much competition on the poll there, but let me know if you'd go for someone different. For a big Joe McCarthy, I think has got a good chance. Then we have a bit of mix of nations in the back row. Curry at 6, but only just 46%. Jack Morgan, no, only just there, 37, 38% at open side. I mean, is Jack Morgan going to go on the tour? I don't think that is nailed on. I think he will, but will he be in the starting team? It's going to be very interesting. But Curry and Morgan are the poll numbers there, and Caelan Doris, a big 72% there. Looks like he would be the number 8 for the favourites of the poll. Then we've just got a massive walkover for Jamison Gibson Park, 92, nearly 93%, saying he's going to start. And yeah, I can't really see who else would start above him anyway, so pretty much 100% there. Big vote for Finn Russell. I do think he is the big favourite. James Lowe, nearly 50%. Then Bundyaki, 50%. Hugh Jones at 71%. Looks like he's nailed on there, but Ringrose is making a really good charge. He's coming right back to form, so that's going to be interesting. And if Tuipulotu is fit, that could change things, of course. Freeman just sneaking on the wing on 35. That's going to be a big call who goes on the wing. And even if he is away for the beginning of the tour with a top 14, Blair Kinghorn is the favourite on 62%. So that's what the public are thinking on that website at least. Let me know who your favourites are and what positions, if any, you think are still up for grabs before the 8th. Love to know all your opinions as always, and I'll catch you next time.